Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast. All the guys are looking confused because they've all just changed places. That's why Scotty looked. I was going to say, no, I can't say it. We'll come on to that a wee bit later. Anyways, hello and welcome.
To be honest, I don't mind being at the bottom.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Not in that way.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Martin, and I'm joined by Kerr. Kerr, how are you?
I'm fine, Martin. Yourself?
I'm very, very good. Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thanks.
And Scotty, I've heard through the grapevine that there is possibly a new RSC in London. Now, I don't know if you know anything about that. And before we come to the Patreon and all that, if you did know something about that, could you enlighten people watching?
Do you know what, Martin? I'm so glad you mentioned that. You are indeed absolutely correct. Yeah. There is a brand new Rangers supporters club in London, and it's called the London Loyal. Well, it's actually London Loyal, but you can find out more information at the London Loyal. You can come to me, and my Twitter handle is there. If you care to join, wish to know any information, we hold events. We screen all the matches that you could possibly want to watch in London. You will be joined by 50, 60, 70 at the Old Firm game. We had over 200 people watching the game in the pub. You will receive the warmest of welcome, and please get more information. And if you'd like to, please join, support the club. We do day trips. We're going to go down to the South Coast. We'll be coming up to Glasgow. We want to affiliate with every other Rangers supporters club out there. So we all like to support each other, but I'm very glad you asked, Martin. By the way, I'm okay. I'm fine.
I don't
even better now.
You are. I don't care how you are, really. I just wanted to get a wee plug in there.
London's I don't know what I was going to say then.
London's a very big place, Scotty. So
it is a very big place.
Is it one certain area of London, or are you covering the full of London? Because that's like
City of London.
The City of London.
City of London's the main central. But that's not to take away, because there's some absolutely outstanding Rangers supporters clubs in London. We have the Surrey True Blues, the West London Loyal. We've even got the Dartford Loyal, and we've got the RFC SA London supporters branch. So you will always receive the warmest of welcomes at each one of those. But for the purposes of day trips and whatnot, and we're based at the GM, so we'll keep that name.
Right, you've had plenty. That's you. Of course, we are available. We're on now YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So this ugly mug is getting even further out there. I'm going to tell you all a wee story in a wee bit as well about me coming home for the Hearts game. For anybody who follows the Rangers Rabble on Twitter, you'll already know. But yeah, that wasn't pleasant. We also, of course, have loads of extra stuff on Patreon and for memberships on YouTube. Links are down below. I'll go into that later on because CGM will give me into trouble as he usually does. So before we get into it, we're not going to go back over the Hearts game because we had our reaction. It's been a few days. We're just going to talk about some individual players. We're going to touch on the press conference. No, I'm not reading this off a bit of paper, I promise you. We're going to touch on the press conference. Then a bit, of course, the 500 tickets for Dortmund, and I'm booked to go. But anyway, and then, of course, we will preview the Hibs game. But let's get to some comments. Nicholas, as ever, good evening, all from the South Wales Loyal. Jay, good evening, lads. Dale, you kill me every week, mate. You absolutely kill me. Hello from Los Angeles. Jim Sloan, hello. Fog Dog, one of our channel members, all right, folks. Robert Robertson, my favourite name. The Barnsley Bear, CGM. Thank God you're here, CGM. I don't know what I would do without you. Let's get started. Nathan Arthur, good evening again from CGM. Loads and loads and loads of comments. I will try and get to as many as I can throughout this show. So let's get started. Let's talk about Rangers, because that's 4.5 minutes or 5 minutes of me just absolutely waffling on in Scotty. Doing a really poor advertisement. Such poor advertisement.
Listen, if you gave me more than 30 seconds notice, I might have been able to come up with some sort of spiel. But you said you were going to do it.
No, I didn't. I said I was going to bring you in for a big grand reveal, but of course, as you do,
15 minutes before we
up.
started.
Anyways, shut up, Scotty. Let's carry on. Mark, Rangers 5, Hearts 0 at the weekend. I don't want to go over the game, but just very quickly for you, what was so different about the Rangers team? I know the personnel was different, but what was so different in the performance?
Bit of desire, bit of hunger, bit of passion. Everything that should be a first. It should be the first thing that any player does on a park. Playing for a jersey, a bit of pride.
That's just a normal talk, Mark. That's not a Rangers talk. I don't know why you were giving it a bit of this. That's just silly. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so as I said, everything
I'm in an arsehole mood today.
What's new?
Everything that you should get at a Rangers player that we never got midweek against Celtic, everything that was lacking, we got, and it just shows you. I said it previously. It could be the best football in the world, but without heart and without a bit of desire, that doesn't win you games. So, as I said, they come out and showed us what they're capable of. So that's the bar now. So that's where they need to stay. They need to keep it there, and they need to press on for that.
It wasn't just Scott the win. The win was vital. We needed the win regardless. But I think we also needed a performance like that. Maybe not a 5-0, but we needed something. We needed to see something. We needed to see a different kind of response for these players, because a lot of fans, I mean, that Old Firm game, we were all down, and that was exactly what the doctor ordered. Okay.
Oh, I thought you said Scotty. I thought you were talking to Scotty there.
It was Martin.
It was Martin. I think the difference was we played in the front foot, which we've not done for a while. We were attacking as a team, we were defending as a team, we were pressing really well, no individuals, but as a team. And I think we just played really well. We were getting into this game, we were 4 points behind at this point, because obviously they won the game before us, and it could put a bit of pressure on the players. So I think the result was a lot better than I expected, Martin, to be honest with you. And I thought maybe we would sneak it. I was fearing a draw, but we came out and we totally played a lot better than I expected, just because of the way we've been playing. But it shows you we can do it. It shows you the player showed himself he can do it. So hopefully we continue in this vein, because every player in the team on Sunday played really, really well.
No, they did. Scotty, Chris Stewart has commented. I think they've realised they have a challenge all of a sudden. Hopefully this is a kick-up they need. I don't think that was what the issue was. I don't think that was anywhere near what the issue was.
I just thought they were crap. Obviously not on Sunday, but on Wednesday they were crap. And they must have gone into that game on Sunday. And if they weren't embarrassed, I was fucking embarrassed. Excuse my language. I was embarrassed for them. And I'm still embarrassed now. Because that game on Wednesday had the focus of Europe, probably the world, because there's not many Old Firm games midweek. They hopefully were really embarrassed. I'm not going to lie, I'm still a little bit concerned, because that was brilliant. The pressing, blah, 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 blah. I've seen this team with a mentality that, right, that's it, done. We've hit our height. We can stay there. No, they need to go up again and again and make sure these standards don't drop. So I still have that apprehensive feeling going into tomorrow that we are capable of a dip in performance. I don't want to see it. We need the consistency now, not only for this game, but the next game, and then going into Dortmund, and then the next game. We need to see the consistency, those energy levels, that desire, that hunger, that unity that showed. Because for me, Sunday was the best performance that I've seen us play in God knows how long. For me this season, and it was the most complete 90 minutes we've had.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely shocking. It's February.
Mm-hmm. No, look, there was a point made, and I can't find it now, right? But Mark, it was along the lines of played really well, but at the start of that second half, there was a 10-15 minute spell where they kind of looked like Hearts might get back into it. They had a couple of chances they possibly could get back into it. But taking for Scotty's point now, it's now up to the players. The players have to show this consistency. There's only 13 games, and I say only, right? But there is genuinely only 13 games left. So if they don't find consistency in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 games, they're running out of time to find it.
Yeah, I mean they've not really had consistency. If you look at the season so far, it's not really been consistent. They've had spells where they've played really well, spells where they've scraped points, but they need to kick on. This is hopefully, I agree with that statement. This might be a kick up the arse that they need to go, do you know what? We need to push on. This is our level. Like Scotty says there, maybe try and raise it a level, but that's the baseline. That is the baseline. That game against Hearts is the baseline, and they need to go from there, and they need to kick on. If they've got any thoughts of winning this league, they need to push on for it.
Saying all that, Kerr, I mean, we've only lost like 2 and 60, 2 and 62.
I know. When the consistency's result-wise been there, performance-wise, not as much. But if you can get the 3 points, you're happy with that. I know the Celtic game does annoy me, to be fair, and like Scotty said, I wasn't happy with it at all. But what annoys me the most was Ross County, because even if they'd won the game there, Celtic were always going to beat us at some point. It was just all averages, but we'd have still been ahead. That's the difference. And because we're behind now, we can't really afford any more slip-ups. And it's still in the back of my mind that this team might have another slip-up in them, because you never know what you're going to get for a Rangers side.
I came onto this tonight all positive. I know I was tired and all that, right? But I was
Sorry, I'm usually the positive one, but you asked me the wrong question.
Yeah, I know. You're all a pain in the arse. Giovanni, in his press conference today, Scotty spoke about Ryan Jack, and of course, when he mentions Ryan Jack injury, we all go, "Oh no, we'll cover our eyes. What is it?" Now he's saying it's only going to be for one game, pretty much. He should be back in training next week. But you hear Ryan Jack, you hear injury, and you fear the worst.
You do, but he just took a sore one, and sometimes the game just comes too soon. Maybe if it was Thursday or Friday, he'd be absolutely fine to play. I think you hear Ryan Jack injury, but you do need to wait for the next couple of words. Like, what is the injury? Because it's something that's completely unrelated to what's kept him out. I have a feeling that they've been extra careful and extra patient with him, to a point where they know they are certain that he is beyond his injury problems, his recurring injury problems. So I'm hoping, believing, being positive that we are now just your standard footballing niggly injuries. That's what's going to happen to Ryan Jack. Fingers crossed. I'm hopeful. He's yeah. I was going to say he's not usually injury prone, but he is. We'll see.
He very much is. He is, Mark. But since he's came back into the team, it's only been a couple of games or whatever. But you notice a real difference in the centre of the park.
He's showed his worth, hasn't he? He's come on and he's just. See, I know that sometimes when a player's out for a length of time, we kind of make them better than they are usually, don't we? Well, he's the answer. He's the one that we need back. But he come back and he's been out. Even his wee cameo against Celtic, the you could see what the difference he brings to the team. It's just something different, and it's just more dynamic. Wee bit aggression, wee bit grit that we talk about. And I'm proper gutted that he's not going to make this game tomorrow night.
I know, it's the confidence he has in his cell as well, Kieran. It seems as if that's what these players have kind of been lacking. I mean, Jack comes back, he's been out for how long, and he just comes onto the pitch and it's like he's never been away.
It's just his thing in the park, his presence in the park. He helps his teammates out, but he gets forward. He's kind of box to box, isn't he, Ryan Jack? He's got injury problems, but he is box to box. He helps out Tal 1 minute, and then he's up the park next minute trying to play somebody through. I thought he should have maybe had a couple of shots against Hearts right enough. He was in the position to shoot and he took the pass, whereas midweek he was taking a shot. I know it was a different situation, but he took a shot and smacked the bar. But just his presence in midfield, he gives you more, because he likes to go forward, he can defend, and he starts things up, and he pushes players on and motivates them. He's always speaking to folk in the park as well. He's not quiet. I think it's having a bit Ryan Jack gives you, but it's just unfortunate. We might never see get another full season out of him. He's getting older, so he'll pick up niggle injuries. So I think we'll have to take care of him. If he's got a wee knock, then you leave him out for a game, and hopefully he comes back for the next game. But It's just fingers crossed it doesn't get another bad injury, because I think that could set him right back.
I know. Touch wood, that won't happen. But Scotty, you know, Willie Collum was in a great position to see it, and surely that wasn't a foul on Ryan Jack, was it?
Oh, he's an arsehole, isn't he?
Ryan Jack's not an arsehole, sorry.
I don't even know where to start, what he's thinking. These decisions are made in a split second, blink of an eye. But it's very, very easy to overlook things when you've got something in your mind. And he's right. He's there, like Kevin Clancy there, and he's I could just leave him. I'm talking about Willie Collum, obviously. I'm not talking about Ryan Jack. But, I don't understand really. He looked at it and it's a challenge from behind, right? Which pretty much outlawed. But I can understand why he was like, okay, well, benefit of the doubt. But when you see the follow through as well, it's a malicious challenge, and it's unacceptable. But and I'm sure we're going to go on to it. When you take into account the other decisions that he made during the game, you've got to be questioning, well, the quality of this referee.
Look, I think we could probably question. I mean, the quality of every referee in Scotland, to be honest. Now, look, I've said this for day dot, right? People may agree, people may disagree. It's just my opinion, right? For me, there may be a subconscious bias within certain refs. Maybe some decisions might go ways or whatever. But Mark, for me, there is no... Willie Collum doesn't step out on that park and go, right, I'm going to give 80-20 of these decisions in favour of Hearts. That just doesn't happen for me anyway, right? But he doesn't give a foul on Jack, which is a clear free kick, and it's an injury. But yet he books Leon Balogun. Now, the Leon Balogun challenge, he wins the ball. Is the follow through A, a free kick, and B, if it is a free kick, is it a yellow card?
No, none of the above. I think it's a great challenge. His momentum takes him into the player, that's all. He wins the ball cleanly, fairly. But it's just to go back to the referee, and the standard's just embarrassing. It's just absolutely embarrassing. I watched the game with my mate, and he mainly watches English football, doesn't really watch Scottish football. And he just couldn't believe the refereeing. It's embarrassing. And I don't know how you fix it. It's just, sometimes it blows your mind watching them. Just frightening, absolutely frightening. I don't know where you go for that. It's as if some of these guys just kind of just make things up as they go along. But it just blows my mind, absolutely blows my mind.
It's the standard of refereeing in this country. Can I look? I'm not saying that the referees are that poor in this country, that they're fantastic everywhere else. We've seen decisions in other countries that baffles me, even down south, even in England where they're full time. But Willie Collum in that Hearts game, I was at it, more on that in a bit. He was horrendous the whole game.
It's not his first time, is it, Martin? Willie Collum's just not a good referee. I don't think he's biased in any way, because I don't think he's good enough to be biased. I just think he's shite, basically. And I'm not swearing there, but I just think he's awful. Clancy's the same. I mean, I don't know if you heard about Steve Conroy. He was in the paper the other day talking about when he was a ref and stuff, and he was telling the SFA he was a Dumbarton fan, even though he was a Celtic fan. So you don't really know what goes on behind the scenes with these guys. And they all support somebody at the end of the day. I don't really think any referee is biased. I don't think if they're professional enough, they shouldn't be biased. They do make mistakes, of course they do. Do we need referees? We do to have a game of football, but I think we need better assistance, we need better training, but we just, in the day, we need better referees. And I think, see, I'm moaning about it too much. We need other people to come in and be referees, and it's hard to do that because it's a very difficult job for anybody to do. But the guys have got it now aren't they great? But like you said, Martin, England's not the best. And they've got VAR help at times, and even that messes up.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's just every week. And look, Kerr, you do best of the rest. It's available on the Rangers Rabble Patreon and memberships. I just thought I'd get that in there as well. And I know that you do a bit of extra curricular activities as well. So you see a lot of Scottish football.
Yeah.
And look, is it the same everywhere else, or is it the fact that it's Rangers and Celtic, or is it the same for all teams?
I think Rangers and Celtic highlighted because it's a bigger game, more importance, bigger crowds, and it's televised. But even down the Championship and League One level, the referees aren't great, to be honest with you. Even they make a lot of mistakes. Their fans are shouting about referees at that level as well. So I just think the referees in general need help. I mean, I've argued with the ref myself, and I used to coach my son's team. So even at youth level, I'm not great, but we've all got different opinions. But as for Willie Collum and Kevin Clancy, they must be two of the worst out there, because I don't, like I said earlier, they're not good enough to be biased. They're just awful.
And listen, there's more than just they two, like Andrew Dallas and stuff like that. There's plenty of refs out there.
Is he still refereeing?
Do you know what? I seen him as a fourth official.
I've not seen his name mentioned for ages, actually.
I seen him as a fourth official not long ago, and I'm like that. Normally they normally rotate, don't they, between them?
What I will say, Martin, is I don't know if anybody watched the Hibs and Hearts game the other night, and the referee who was that game, he let a lot of things go. Was it Don Robertson?
I don't know who it was.
But he let a hell of a lot of things go that night. But other games, they pull it up very quickly.
Pretty much. If they were, would you be happy if they were just consistently shite rather than being inconsistent? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Consistent.
Well, no, I think that's the thing. If you know what you're going to get, you can't really grumble, because a hard tackle with this referee every single game is either going to go unpunished, or it's the inconsistency. So highlighting again that Hearts game, you compare Balogun's tackle or even Bassey's tackle, who both got yellow cards, with Baningame, which, by the way, how did he not even get booked? He had about 4 or 5 really bad tackles in the first half alone. He didn't even get booked. Compare that with his on Ryan Jack, and you're thinking, you're actually just making this up as you go along. You haven't got a Scooby-Doo what the rules are. That's just what it feels like. And then he'll turn up and he'll referee a completely other game, and he might get card happy in the first half. And then you're thinking, right, okay, well, what is going on? Are these referees in private with the SFA not actually scrutinised? Are they not sat down and go, right, okay, well, here's your decision. This is what we actually want you to do by the letter of the law. And we've almost got to, it's like we need to remove the interpretation or the feeling that referees have at that time. Yes, they have to use their judgment from time to time, but it varies too much. It's polar opposites.
I know. Listen, we'll leave that there. I don't want to be too negative. Sorry, hold on. I've just been disturbed by the better half. Right, on you go. See you later. Bye now. I just thought I would quickly mention, we'll come back to that in a minute. The Rangers Bees were playing today, Mark. I don't know if you managed to see it or if I came to the completely wrong person. They were playing Sevilla in the UEFA Youth League.
Yeah, I was working, so I never seen it. I just know the score.
We should
really see the second half
beforehand to see who's watched stuff and who hasn't.
Martin, I told you I saw the second half.
Yeah, but that's just the second half. That's no use to me.
I had it on when I was working, but I didn't catch it all because I was watching it when I was.
So apparently the Rangers Bees were playing today. They were playing Sevilla at Dumbarton, and I have to say the pitch was horrendous. It was a poor advert.
It was great for growing potatoes, though.
Yeah, unfortunately they lost 1-0, Scotty, but a good experience for the guys. Pretty good Sevilla team.
Yeah, it's a pretty good Sevilla team. I think the Rangers team did lack that little bit of quality, but you can tell the technical ability between the two teams. And when they come up a team that also has the energy, drive, and Sevilla had a bit about them, like to get stuck into their tackles. It was a little bit disappointing, and we mentioned referees. Actually, it's a little bit disappointing because there was a lot of theatrics, probably on a little bit of both sides. But the referee was absolutely outstanding. He was incredible. He didn't bite any of the crap. Just told him to get on with it. Told him to shut up, go away. I mean, he was absolutely outstanding. He deserves a special mention. But what it highlighted to me was watching that game is Alex Lowry is so far ahead of any of his teammates.
Just on that point, Scotty, straight on that point, right? Because CGM has put in that. Well, that wasn't me. That Lowry was our best player by a distance, right? And I should very quickly say that William Irwin and John Walker tonight recorded an Academy review, which will be out on Thursday on YouTube, but it will be out tomorrow on Patreon and YouTube memberships. But Scotty, the one thing I did notice was, yes, he was by far and away above everybody, but it did seem to me like he knew that and he was trying a wee bit too hard sometimes. I'll give you an example. He made a fantastic run I think it was the first half. He basically skinned our whole team, and all he had to do was lay the ball off to the left, but he tried to take that last defender on. He done that 2 or 3 times.
I think what happens is every time we got the ball, we looked to give him the ball, and there was a over reliance on him. And I think his level of confidence, because he was doing well when he got the ball, was increasing. It gets to that situation, he's thinking, right, yeah, I can do this, and yeah, hopefully it's something he'll learn from. Just lay it off. I mean, all the quality players can do all that, but the very, very best know their surroundings and know where their teammates are. And I think, yeah, he needs to now be challenged, because I was even looking at him in comparison to the Sevilla players, and apart from their number 10 who scored, I felt like he was one of, if not the best player on the pitch.
I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that.
And you could just see the drop off in terms of his teammates. I'm not trying to be disrespectful and saying they're not good enough, but you can tell that Lowry is just head and shoulders above that level. And the Rangers players aren't that far behind the Sevilla players. It's just the stage we're at the moment, and we're just going to continue to improve. And it's a really great, fantastic experience for them. And you can tell they're giving absolutely everything. Yeah.
It's just a shame about the pitch. The pitch, obviously, I don't think people might think, the bad pitch, a silky Sevilla team might have helped, but I don't think that helped Rangers either.
No, it didn't. And that's actually what's really interesting. I thought both teams played extremely good football on that pitch as well. I was really impressed by the standard. Very, very impressed.
Yeah. And look, Darren Knox says, look, Lowry's got more confidence than some more experienced players. That is one thing that young Alex Lowry does not lack. And let's see, I can't see him being in the first team much this season, but definitely next season I think he'll be pushing definitely for a squad place and even possibly for a first team place, because that boy is definitely going places. Care Sunday, Rangers women, I've seen it in the comments, had a fantastic result. They beat Glasgow City 3-1. Now, Glasgow City they've ruled women's football in Scotland for 14, 15 years.
For as long as I can remember, Martin.
Yeah, so that's a great result for the Rangers women.
They seem to be improving constantly, don't they? And they're signing players for not just for Scotland, but for other parts of the country. So it's good to see, and it's good to see the Rangers team, doesn't matter if it's women or guys, winning games and getting. I mean, I think they should be winning the league this year. They're doing really well, and Champions League they want it, don't they? That's what they want to try and get into the Champions League for next season, because Glasgow City's been it a few times, and it gets good media attention. It gets these players noticed to end up maybe moving to the English Premiership or abroad, and they can make themselves a lot of money. So the Rangers team want to do that as well, get in the Champions League and show what they've got there. But no, it's a good result for them, because like you said, Glasgow City's been about for as long as my son's been playing football. About 10 years ago, they've been about even before then. So I know they were probably one of the first women's teams in Scotland to perform at a high level.
What was remember years ago during the war? I don't know. Hear me out, right? What was the American slogan with the guy with the dress? Was it we Uncle Sam needs you or something like that? Wasn't it? Was that what it was? Mark, you were about then. Is that what it was?
I don't know. I was going to start calling you Uncle Albert.
Right, well, anyways,
I know the wee dude you're talking about, but I don't know. I can picture the wee guy but I don't know what his
with the
name
hat
was.
on and his point.
Yeah, I can
Right.
picture him, but I don't know what his name was.
Right. The Rangers rabble needs you. Like that there. Yes, we have a few positions open at the podcast. We are looking for people who would like to be on some Patreon shows. Nicholas Moore, you're not that old, Martin. I didn't say it was me. Uncle Sam needs you. CGM, thank you. Yeah, so we're looking for people who would like to participate. We're looking for people for the best of the rest. Obviously, closing the title, covering all the other teams in the SPFL. Kerr does that brilliantly every week, but we need some support with that. We want to bring back the EPL show. We want people for preview shows, and who knows, even jumping on the YouTube as well. We're trying to grow, folks. I'm trying to get 5 shows out a week on Patreon and for the YouTube members. And in order to do that, we need people to join and help support us. So I know not everyone's got Twitter, right? So there's plenty of ways to get in contact. You can, of course, DM us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. If you don't have any of them and you're only on YouTube, then email, right? Get a pen and paper, right? rangersrabble@gmail.com. rangersrabble@gmail.com. Corey Muncher, I never sacked anybody. rangersrabble@gmail.com. If you want to get on board, if you want to appear on podcasts, if you want to help us out with the Patreon stuff, we're looking for support. We're looking to get more stuff going. And then once we get bigger and bigger and bigger, we're going to do a lot of, well, Kerr's forcing me to do some NBA and NFL stuff, but that's in the future.
Not just me, Big Wally and all.
Yeah, just be you, Molly Irwin, and anybody else who wants to join. We also want to get a Rangers Women's podcast going as well. But in order to do that, I want people who actually know about the women's team. I don't just want to throw 2 people in there who check some stats and then go and talk about it. I want it to be good, in-depth quality. We've got Wally Irwin, who does our Rangers Academy updates. Wally knows more than probably anybody at Rangers about the youth team. He's been following them that long. He knows his stuff. So if you want to help, there you go. Twitter, Aldo McNaught, messaged on all socials. Aldo, I need you in the YouTube comments. No, I'll get back to you. So, rangersrabble@gmail.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Send us a DM and we'll see what we can do. Right, Scotty, Alfredo Morelos, how important is he to this Rangers team?
Oh, it's fantastic to have him back, wasn't it? Like, actually back, not just the Alfredo Morelos who was out of form. He's come back and he's on it. He had the bit between his teeth, and it was fantastic to see. And it really highlighted what we've been missing. And no disrespect to Cedric Hinton or Kemar Roof, but they can't give us what Alfredo brings us. He's not exactly the tallest, but it's like he's an absolute mountain peak up top. He gets himself about. He's so strong. Like, ordinarily, if the ball's coming in the air, the defender just wants to push the attacker forward a bit so he can head the ball. If you're coming up against Morelos, you're coming up against a brick wall. Morelos is going to get his body in the way, and that's what he brings. If you want to get to the ball, you need to foul him. So defenders seem to know that and back off. He's added an extra dimension to his game with his hold-up play. And over the last 18 months, when he's managed to bring in the ball, sometimes he's been a bit slack with laying off the ball, but he's improving, continually improving. And his ball retention rate on Sunday must have been incredibly high. I do like the fact that he can switch the play and he can, almost turn the game on its head quite quickly with his vision and his passing. And again, I don't know where this has come from, but it's a new dimension to his game. His flicks around the corner, he transitions the attack so fast. And not only that, he's demanding his teammates do the same. I noticed on Sunday he was giving Arfield absolute pelters for not doing the kind of pass that Morelos would do. It's like, why are you not playing me? And why not playing me down the channel? So he demands it. What he does, he demands of other people. And it does help because you don't get that from Roof or Itten. And I know Parkhead was difficult on Wednesday. It's difficult for everyone. Mm-hmm. But Roof it's like he was just waving the white flag. He wasn't getting close to anyone. He wasn't challenging for the ball. He wasn't reading any clearances. And I know you can't be here, there, and everywhere all the time, but you've got to make yourself known. Itten just doesn't possess the same quality. Obviously, Defoe's gone. Sakala, different game altogether. If you're going to play Sakala up top, down the channel, it's getting to this stage where it's almost like without Morelos, we don't know where to turn. We don't know what to do going forward. You do rely on your best players, and that's to be expected. So it's normal to have a drop off, but you expect others to step up. We didn't receive that while Morelos was gone. So, long story short, desperately happy to get him back.
You could have just said that.
All right, well, someone in the comments said I was boring earlier, so I just wanted to ramble on a bit more to piss them off.
I meant to change my YouTube name before I commented. Robert Robertson just simply says pivotal. He's absolutely pivotal to everything we do. And look, I had a conversation with a guy in my work after the Old Firm defeat, and he was saying, look, Alfie is an absolute mainstay. We need him. We are not the same team without him. And I says to him, look, of course, he's my number one striker and all that, but I've got every confidence in Roof. Not so much confidence in it, but I would have expected Roof to do better, etc., etc. And then you see that performance for Alfie and you go, there is nobody in an attacking position at our football club that comes close to him.
Yeah, when he's on it, he's immense. The wee man's brilliant. When he's on it, he's just everything you want for a striker. He's just want power. He doesn't give him a minute's rest. He's constantly on them. He's so intelligent. When he's just his body as well. See that wee nudge, before he moves, knock a defender off balance and stuff like that. And that give him a wee half yard. So, just as I said, he brings so much to the team, and I think that he kind of gets all the players run about him. It gives them a lift as well. So, as I said, absolutely immense wee man. Sometimes when he's on it, I think he's unplayable. I think when he's on it, it just terrorises defences, and hopefully this is Alfie he's going to kick on till the end of the season, because in that form he's got another easy 20 goals on him the rest of this season, maybe even more.
20 goals in 13 games.
Aye.
All competitions, mate.
Said it here first.
That'd be like Cedric Eaton playing Motherwell for 13 games, wouldn't it?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. The wee man's at it.
Kerry looked angry. He looked like the old Alfie. Is that fair?
He did. I think he's just a player that's at this moment in time he's improved so much since he's been at Rangers. You can see that. Sometimes he's inconsistent, but I think Sunday, the first long kick from McGregor, Sibic missed it, and him and Alfie were running for it, and he just pushed him out of the way. And I think after that, he knew I've got to beat in this chap, and they just all through the game on Sunday, he terrorised him. He was coming deep, he was going to the flanks, he was creating, he was scoring, everything he was doing was coming off for him, and he was wanting everybody else to join in and help him out. And doesn't matter who Alfie plays against, he's a threat, because he doesn't fear anybody, because he thinks he's better than him, and that's what he needs, a striker, because we all know in his game he can terrorise anybody, and I'm very surprised he's still here, Martin, to be fair. I thought somebody would have took a punt on him, because you see players all over Europe getting sold for silly money, and some of them aren't even as good as Morelos, because on his game he's superb, and he's got so different many things he can do, and a football partner will just score goals. I think I just hope he stays at Rangers for another few years, because I think he can lead the line for years, and I just love him when he's in fire, because he's just so good to watch, and he gives the team a confidence, but he makes everybody in the stadium so happy with just his performances, with celebrations, and when he scores the goals, the big smile on his face, he loves it.
I know.
That smile. It melts the coldest of hearts.
I mean, what I know. John Lundstram.
Can say bye bye, Martin.
I apologise, Mark. I apologise. John Lundstram appears to be a fan's favourite again. It seems to be, as soon as he has one good game, we all go mental. But he had a very, very good game. He needs to get a run of games now, do you think, in that position? Or what do you think the script is with regards to John Lundstram?
I think it was outstanding. I think he needs to have a run of games. I think that he's shown this season in spells and wee cameos that he's a good player. There's a player in there, 100% there's a player in there. You don't play all the games in a Premiership and all of a sudden come up road and go like that. He's rotten. Get shot him. So he's got the pedigree. He's got He's got the physical attributes. He's powerful. He's big. He can pass the ball. And I tell you what, it shows he can tackle as well. So, run of games. The problem is that I think he said a game here, dropped. A game there, dropped. Played well that game. Never played well the second game. So, we run of games. Why not? I mean, Kamara, for me, I said it before as well. Kamara is a fabulous player, but he's dropped off the last couple of months. He's just not been at it the way we know he can be. So give him a run of games. The problem now is who do you play alongside him in there now that Ryan Jack's injured?
It's only for one game, innit? So you might put Sands in there, you might bring Davis back in there. Of course, that's up to the manager, whoever's performing the best in training. Scotty, but you had a few quizzical looks on your face there when I asked that question. Do you care to elaborate on?
I just think some of us are very easily pleased and easily forgiving. Because, yes, Lundstram has had a very good game. And I went on Twitter and said, absolutely fantastic, absolutely love to see it. His name was on the team sheet. I was like, oh my God, how many mistakes is he going to make in the first 10 minutes before he wakes up? Right. And he proved me wrong. Hands up, I got that spectacularly wrong. But when I talk about my apprehension going into tomorrow, that includes him. He's got a long, long way to go to convince me, and he should have a long, long way to go to convince any of the Rangers supporter that he can nail down a starting place, and that starts with tomorrow. What I saw on Sunday was absolutely fantastic. Do not get me wrong, but I have memories of his slack passing, he's slow on the ball, he's not tracking back, not being where he should be, misplaced passes, to then go, right, you've had one good game, that's you, son, that's you got the talent. Not having it.
On that, Scotty, Corey Muncher's asking, behave yourself. He had 4 man of the matches in a row.
And I sat here and I said exactly the same thing. You're all easily pleased. He did the job. He passed sideways. We won games that we should have won, and he put in a really simple performance. You've got to do more. Got to do so much more.
Fair enough, all right. Just killed the buzz I had going at the end there. Well done,
The guys. I mean, aside from Aaron Ramsey, now our top paid player. Top paid player. You think what he's done so far in his Rangers career has justified that with 4 man of the matches or not? No, not for me.
Not his fault. He's top paid players. He's agent in Rangers, but he has been.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because if you look at the Juventus fans' reaction to Aaron Ramsey, he scored a couple of goals. He's done all right. They're absolutely slagging him. Away you go. You're a top player.
Everybody's got opinions, Scott.
Juventus fans are quite unfair in their criticism of players, though, are they not?
Lundstram's only been in the door 5 minutes as well, though.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
How long does he have to be here?
I'm not disagreeing with you, Scotty, but I think Lundstram, I think there's a player there, but I agree with you, he's not done anything to justify that. But I think you can't take one performance and say he deserves to be in the team every week. But I think he's playing a different way. With Sheffield United, he was more having to defend, because they were always defending in the Premiership, because they never had the ball as much as we do. So maybe he does struggle passing. But I think when he gets the ball, he always wants to pass forward, which might be a criticism. Maybe he shouldn't. I'd also think he's more physical in some of our players. I think Gerrard used him wrong, and I think Gerrard hung him out to dry after the Malmo defeat as well, which didn't help him. I think he get made the scapegoat for that. So I think he's had a lot of time to say. He needed time to settle into the Rangers, moving into a different league with family and stuff. So you put that on him. But I do agree with you. We need to give him more time, but we can't just say he's a first-team player at this moment because of one performance.
100%.
I think he needs more time than being told, listen, you're not good enough, because I think there's talent there, but for some reason, I think Gio will try to try and get out of him, because I think he could be a big player for us, because he's got all the attributes that we need, especially for Scottish football.
Well, he played over Davis. He started, I know Kamara had a poor, maybe not a poor game, but anyway, he started over Davis, he started over Kamara, he went in there beside Ryan Jack. It's not as if Gio's not giving him a chance. So Gio obviously sees something there. It's not like a few players that since Gio's come in have barely got a touch of the ball. So we'll see how that goes. We're 45 minutes in and we still haven't touched on him, and I've got a few more things to talk about, because I've went and got stats and all that for the preview again. I'm calling me the stat man.
Stado.
Yes. Helander, Mark, could be back soon. Scotty. No, please don't do that. Helander could be back soon, but obviously Gio made the decision to leave him out of the Europa League squad. Correct decision for you?
Bit of a strange one for me. If he's going to be back soon, then why is he not on the squad?
Well, they're thinking what, Annan possibly.
Yeah, but for me, he's the best defender at the club, 100%. And I think Helander makes us a lot better in defence. I think that it brings that calmness to the back four. I think he's very assured. But for me, if he's fit, even if he needs to come on last half hour or something like that, it would always be in my squad. Always, as I said, if he's fit enough, then I would see it as a strange decision that he's no. So obviously they know something we don't know.
If it wasn't perhaps Dortmund that we were going to play in the Europa League, I would possibly agree with Mark, but putting even on the bench to come into the team if somebody gets injured, putting a Helander who's been out for so long in against a team the quality of Dortmund, does that make sense?
I think he's just been out for too long, Martin, and just bringing him back slow. I think that's basically the only reason. I don't think anything to do with his ability. I just think Gio's trying to just get him into the team, but make sure he's going to come in and no break down again.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even be surprised if he plays anything, because that's a plastic part, so maybe not play the full minutes. If he does, it won't be long. So I think I'm just going to try and nurse him back. I mean, I think he's probably one of the better defenders. I still think Gunnar Golson's the best defender, but it's all about opinions, Mark. I just think we don't want to rush him, because if he breaks down again, you don't know if that's him going to miss the rest of the season. I think we'll be careful with him coming back, because once he is fully fit, he goes straight into the starting lineup, Helander. But he's just, especially against Dortmund, you don't have to put him up. I mean, Dortmund, to be honest with you, Dortmund game's going to be 2 games and going to be finished. I don't think we'll go through. And I'm not being time. I just don't see he's getting through against Dortmund. I'm just hoping the second leg's not a write-off before I get to it, but I just think we're going to nurse him back. Hopefully he's back for the games after Dortmund.
On said Dortmund game, Scotty, Rangers today released a wee statement to say that the club will be given 500 tickets.
Don't panic.
There will be there will be a capacity of 10,000. As you very well know, because we are staying in the same hotel that I have booked up for Dortmund. I'm worried, Scotty. I want a ticket.
I've changed my hotel.
How did you were staying there?
We'll come back to that. We'll talk in private. But
in the hotel, or
no spoons allowed.
I'm always big spoon. Right. So I heard the rumor that we were going to get the 500 tickets, and this is fantastic news, by the way, because a couple of days ago they weren't having any fans in. Now it's 10,000. We've got 5% of the allocation, and what does the West? I can't remember what the new name of the stadium is. Holds about 80,000. Dortmund are still pushing for the full attendance, at which point we will have our full allocation. So nothing to be panicking about just yet. The game is very, very close, but the fact that we've even got 500 tickets in the first place is an absolute bonus. And if it does transpire that it stays at 10,000, we've got 500. I reckon we could make that place one hell of a noisy place with 500 Bears against 9,500 of them. Bearing in mind they're corporates and whatnot, and whether they actually just single out their ultras and get them in or not, I don't know. I doubt it. But I know we're all desperate to go. We're all desperate to be there. I'm absolutely desperate to get in. So fingers crossed. I'm still hopeful.
I know, and honestly, the route that I have to take to get there, I better get a ticket, man.
How are you getting there?
Well, I'm flying from Glasgow to London, and then I'm flying from London to Bremen, and then I have to go and get a train from Bremen to Dortmund, So and I've not bought a trade. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We need to talk about Rangers, not my travel plans. Mark, 500 fans. Is Scotty right? Is it better than nothing? Or, I mean, everywhere else is open.
I'm going to agree with Scotty. Shock horror, but I'm going to agree with me. 500 fans is better than nothing. And let's just say that probably there might just be one or two more than the 500 fans there.
I know. I'll be one of them.
If you know what I mean.
Well, listen, I've booked my flights, so I can't get my money back. So I totally get Rangers obviously putting out a statement saying, look, if you haven't got a ticket, please don't travel. Check the regulations and stuff like that. But if I'm not getting my money back, I'm going for a 3-day holiday to Dortmund, Scotty.
100%.
You know what I mean? Right. Okay. Let's have a look at the Hibs game, shall we? Which is what's in the title of the video. Kerr, it's well known that regardless of how certain teams play, and please tell me if I'm speaking out of turn here, Hibs Aberdeen, regardless of how teams like that are playing, it's always a tough game for Rangers.
It usually is. Hibs are one of these teams that I don't think sometimes they've even played well. They just turn up for some reason. We don't play, and that's how we seem to get a victory. I mean, I've watched them the last few weeks since Sean Maloney's been there, and to be honest with you, they're not great. They're making a lot of mistakes. They've not got any. They've not a great. The shape's not great about him. He's trying to play passing football, like because he came from being an assistant manager to Martinez. He's trying to play a passing football coming out for the back, and that doesn't suit these Hibs players. They're not good enough, and they lack a bit of pace up front, which they didn't have when Martin Boyle was there, and means that Mum beat them on Saturday. Hibs had a lot of the ball, but they done not a lot with it, to be fair. And Mum beat them and then quite comfortably. But I've seen them 3 times since he's come in, and they've not looked good at all. So they'll probably play well tomorrow night just because of that.
My Hearts story. Right, so I'm at the game. Right, I'm at the game. Game finishes. Obviously, it was JD and Alex who were doing the reaction. So I'm down the stair, as fast as a fat guy can run. As soon as the final whistle goes, I'm trying to get the reaction up on my phone to try and maybe help out with the comments and stuff. I parked in the Kinnan Park Business Centre, so I'm trying to get back there. I've went the wrong way, right? I've then had to go up this spiral kind of staircase thing that I didn't know had steps. I'm on my phone. Right, I've kicked one of the steps, and I swear to God, bang! I've hit the deck at some force. Right, there's obviously thousands of people round about. I suffer from anxiety, genuinely suffer from anxiety. Right, so I even get anxiety when I'm sitting inside Ibrox. Right, so I've whacked myself on the deck. I've ripped all my knee open. Right, I've scuffed all my horns. I've got up. I've dusted myself down. I've went to bolt back to the car, got lost, couldn't find my car, eventually found my car, gets in it, try to calm down, drives out the business centre, takes the wrong road and end up in Govanhill. Took me an hour and a half to go home for Ibrox.
One question, Martin. One question. Is the stairs okay?
Well, I don't know. I didn't look. I just got up and ran. You know that. Love the guy in front of me turned around and went, "Are you all right, mate?" And it's completely embarrassing, isn't it? A big fat guy falling. You know what I mean? I've been down in stages, but really yet so quick. Oh, my knee.
That's happening with these day trippers, Martin, that go to Ibrox every so often.
I tell you, by the way. Oh, man. That was extremely, extremely painful. So sorry. Yes, back to the Hibs game. I said I would tell the story. I told the story. Shall we? Do you want to know some stats? Shall we say some stats? Do you want to know some stats? Shall we?
Go for it, Snapple. Go for it.
Right. Here we go. Hibs' top goal scorer is Martin Boyle, who's no longer at the club. Right. The next top goal scorer is Kevin Nisbet on 8 goals, and after that, right, is Kyle McGuinness on 3. So, Scotty, he's not exactly been on top form lately, has Nisbet. So, if we're looking at them from an attacking point of view, they really, really struggle to score goals. That's by the way. Get me on one of these fancy radio shows. I could do it.
You've got a face for it.
I've got a face for it. Anyway, back to the serious stuff, Scott. What are you making my stats?
Absolutely fantastic. You've told me stuff that I didn't know, mainly because I didn't research any of it.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
But Hibs always seem to cause us problems. So stats go out the bloody window as far as I'm concerned in this game. They'll sit in, they'll be dogged. They've got that twat at centre back. He's just going to like kick lumps out of everyone he can. He's going to make it his life's mission to wind up Morelos. And I'm just going to get frustrated and swear at him a bit. Going forward, Kevin Nesbitt always seems to be a bit of a threat, but very rarely scores. He always seems to be a bit of a menace. He just lacks that final bit of quality. And other than that, again, with no ball, I struggle to see. In fact, I'm not actually going to finish that sentence because that's going to be the kiss of death, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm confident, and as Scott said, like from what I've seen of them, they look completely organised or disorganised in an organised way.
Mm.
I can't work out what they're trying to do whenever I see them play. So I'd be really disappointed if we looked at Hibs and said, right, okay, well, they play in this way. We need to match them this way. We should just be able to go out and play our game and absolutely annihilate them.
Yeah,
should do.
Yeah, we should. Mark, do you want some more stats? Will I throw some more stats your way?
Love it. Let's hear it.
They've took 5 points for the last 6 games. They've won 1, drew 2, and lost 3. So they are 8th in the form table. They've conceded 7 and scored 5. So they're conceding and they're not really scoring. I think that would be fair to say. So final part on Hibs. I know we always say it. Look, they up their game and stuff like that against us, but I haven't seen anything from Maloney really since they came in to worry me.
No, I think he won his first 2 games, and I think that was the kind of new manager bounce.
Stats are fantastic, by the way.
Stats were amazing. Stats were amazing. Yeah. Frightening stats. I think they won the first 2 games under Maloney, and I think they've kind of regressed a wee bit from there. I think that they're kind of trying to change their style, and I think they're kind of getting lost in what is their style now. I think everybody's the same. What is their style? But like we've all said, they will turn up against Rangers because they're playing Rangers. Every team in this league turns up because they're playing Rangers. So as long as the Rangers are on it and at it, then we should have a problem. So I would rather say if we do what we're good at, we'll beat them hands down. But as I said, they will turn up and they will try and get Morelos booked, sent off. Any sort of a wee dirty tactics. We know who's going to be doing that. But I think, like you said, they're struggling. They're struggling to score goals. Boyle is going to be a big loss to them.
Massive.
But I like the big boy Nisbet. I think he's a good player, the boy. But like
he's
you
really,
said,
really out of form now,
yeah. So hopefully they're red rotten and we take 5 off them as well.
Yeah. Well, I would love to take more. Kier, moving over to Rangers, obviously, that's what we're here to talk about. We'll come to the lineups and that soon, but I think we can all agree right now that Morelos is going to start. Is that going to be key then, how Morelos deals with Porteous? Because we know exactly what Porteous is going to try and do.
No, I didn't say so much key. I think Alfie just stays out his way. I think he just plays a football. If Alfie sticks to playing football, Porteous doesn't come into the equation. If Alfie gets into a fight with Porteous, that's when it can be a decision that could go either way because you don't know what the referee would do. But if Morelos just plays football like he did on Sunday, then Porteous is even involved because we're just playing about him because he's not the greatest defender. He's okay, but he's not the greatest defender. He tries to play too much. He tries to get into people's head too much, and that's the only worry with Morelos. So hopefully he doesn't bother him tomorrow night because, let's say, Rangers play like anyway did on Sunday, Martin, we win. Doesn't matter who's playing. Yeah. But the only thing is, he will target Morelos, but he should just do it his way because he's a better player, we're a better team, and Porteous just trying to make a name for himself again. He's, let's say, he's done the big chap out of Aberdeen that went to Forest. I can't remember his name now. He's just one of the players. He's a big Scott McKenna. He's just a big duffer. He'll go down to English Championship, do okay, but He's
I don't
nothing
even think
great.
he'll get down there, to be honest with you. I don't think he'll leave Hibs. I don't think anybody would want him. I think the scouts down south are smart enough to see that he's no all that. Scotty, in terms of how we are going to approach the game, I would imagine that A, there won't be many changes, and B, Gio will tell the team, just go and do what you've done against Hearts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Absolutely nailed it, Martin. Why would you change? I mean, obviously we're missing Jack, but anything other than that, why would you change it? I thought Bassi was. He had a couple of moments, I know, but I thought Bassi was excellent and much needed at left back. Tav was more positive. The whole team was just more positive. Great to have Balogun back. I've let my feelings known on Balogun. I don't think he's a particularly long-term centre back, but it was definitely a noticeable upgrade when he came back in. I like Aribo playing further forward. Kent seemed to enjoy himself a lot more. I would like to see a bit more of Diallo, particularly at Ibrox, because I think there's a lot more space and there's a lot more opportunity for him to be an attacking threat, bearing in mind his first couple of games haven't exactly gone to plan.
He was not bad against Ross County.
I know. This is what I mean. The results just haven't gone to plan. So it's really hard to judge, particularly that pitch at Ross County. I mean, it's a decent pitch, but it's not the same at playing at Ibrox, is it? So I'd like to see more of him. But yeah, same approach. Maybe he's interesting to see who brings in beside Lundstram. And I'm saying that despite what I said about Lundstram. Look, he's fully earned the right to start. So probably Kamara, I'd say.
Right. Very, very quickly, because I think my stats are being questioned here. Right. Jai Berg, Martin, did you say they've won 1, drawn 2 and lost 3 in the last 5 games? If I did, I meant to say 6 games, and they took 5 points for the last 6 games. So go and watch that back, right? Because I studied for ages on these stats, Mr. Berg or Mrs. Berg, whoever it is. While I'm on that subject, if you are watching, please do like and subscribe. The subscriptions have shot up. We're nearly on 4,500. We're getting closer and closer to 5,000 all the time. Please do like the pod. It really does help this video go a long, long way. And like I say all the time, after it's finished, come back on, stick something in the comments. Martin, your stats are fantastic. Martin, you're so handsome. Anything you want, just put it in those comments as well.
Martin, stop getting your wife to make comments for you.
My wife wouldn't put that. And it's partner, by the way, not wife. I'm not married.
Okay, then.
I suppose, like, Scotty's thrown up a couple of questions there about the first team. I mean, obviously we need a replacement for Jack because he won't be playing.
Yeah.
But look, Sakala came on again, looked pretty good, got his goal. There's a few talking about Bassi, who I think I'm a fan of Bassi, right? But I'll come on to Bassi in a wee minute. Is there scope there for Gio to make many changes, or would you kind of just go with a roughly same team?
I would go exactly the same team, obviously bar Jack, but I would go exactly the same team. Just tell them to get back out there and do the exact same as what they've done. I thought that all over the park we had pace, we had power, we had urgency. We just looked good. Everybody looked good. The whole team, to a man, almost looked really, really good. So I think the team pretty much, if Jack was fit, it picked itself, the team for me. You need to go out there and go, that's the benchmark. This is the team. Jerseys are yours to lose. Go and play. But that's makes Gio's job easy. If they go out and do it again, then you know that's the exact same team as the next game. So as long as they keep doing it, then that to me picks itself. I know there's room for manoeuvre. Sakala, I think the wee guy looks good every time he comes on. Probably agreeing with Scotty again. I think Diallo, I'd like to see a wee bit more of him as well. But this is get us a couple of goals, get us looking a bit more comfortable, and then you can bring the likes of Ramsey on, you can bring Diallo on, you can kind of give these boys a wee bit more game time and stuff like that, and kind of let them kind of break into the team. But yeah, the team picks itself for me, 100%.
Right, Mark, right, okay. So let me just ask you really quickly. You're playing Lundstram. Who are you playing beside him?
I think he's going to play Kamara, but I think
Right.
he'll play Kamara in an 8 rather than a 6.
Right. So if we play Lundstram and Kamara, right, okay, and people are saying, give Diallo a chance, let's see what he's like, that means you're leaving out Sakala, who he's 100%, he scored against Hearts. You're taking Joe Aribo out the team.
Right.
So, I mean, what does the manager do then? Because I know Joe hasn't been great the last couple of games, right? But for me, he's still the best player in Scotland. I really feel that Sakala deserves a chance. But in order to give Sakala a chance, then you're having to take out Kent, who played really well against Hearts. You're not playing Sakala through the middle. Where does Diallo fit in? Where does Sakala fit in? Where does Kent fit in? Where does Aribo fit in?
I think you
Where
only
does
make.
Ruth fit in?
I think you only
Where
make
does
one
Ramsey
change.
fit in? Where does anybody fit in?
Where do you fit in, Martin? I
That's the
think
anxiety.
you only make one change, and it's just replacing Ryan Jack with either Davis or Kamara. The rest of the players you have to keep in after Sunday's performance because they deserve another chance at a starting position. So Sakala, to me, I never really like Sakala, and I like the wee guy myself, but I think he's more an impact player. I think when he comes on after 50, 60 minutes, his pace gets him a lot more chances than it probably does at the start of the game. I think he's a good impact player to have off the bench. Diallo, he will get a chance, but I don't think Wednesday night you give him a start because of the way he played previous game. And Ruth, he's another guy. I think he's going to see mostly off the bench unless Alfie's not playing. You keep Joe in. Joe's played a lot of football this year, but you can't drop Aribo because he's too important to us. Scotty Arfield makes a difference as well, especially we can go box to box, but it's just his overall positional play in a game of Scotty Arfield gives you superb. I think you keep the guys in. We've got Annan coming up at weekend. You can make a changes in, but Wednesday night I think you just one change for one player and that's it.
Right, so we're all saying one change, which, all right, fair enough. I'm not going to argue because I know hee-haw. Scotty, you've got to kind of look then at who would play best beside Lundstram, who gives Lundstram the freedom to be able to play the game that's best for him, because we know that when he's asked to do a job that he's not suited to, it never works for him. So who is the best in beside Lundstram?
Ryan Jack.
Well, obviously.
He's not there.
It's a really difficult one because Ryan Jack knits everything together and it allows Lundstram to kind of switch off, maybe go missing because Ryan Jack just picks up the pieces, whereas Kamara also has the tendency to switch off and let the game midfield. And as a midfielder, it's almost criminal. Let the ball pass you by. That said, when Kamara's bang on it, he is, for me, the best in that position in Scotland. He's just utter class. We just haven't really seen much of it this season. I would go with Kamara. I think we're going to see plenty of the ball. And I think looking at the potential threat of Hibs, I don't see it being in the middle of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can perhaps try Lundstram and Kamara and hope we get the performance. Because I'm really struggling, apart from Davis.
Sands. I forgot about James Sands.
Sands. I don't think he's dynamic enough to play in a two-man midfield. I think he's missing that ability to drive with the ball. Very tidy and lay off the ball.
I don't think you need Sands to drive with the ball when Lundstram. I think Lundstram drives with the ball, and I think Sands is, and I've only seen him a few times, right? I think he's excellent at sitting there, reading the game, getting the ball back, and then making that short pass for somebody else to go with the ball. You don't need Sands to be driving forward. I don't think we've seen him beside Lundstram yet. We've seen Davis, we've seen Kamara.
I get it.
And it hasn't worked.
I kind of get that, but that's like a three-man midfield where it works. I think if you've got two men in midfield, and bearing in mind how advanced you want Scotty Arfield to play or Ramsey when he comes on.
Arfield, Jesus, right, yeah. So
I'm not having
Arfield
after the Celtic game. I'd rather not have Arfield deep. He can stay go further forward.
Got about 700.
And you just need both players to be able to not necessarily do it, just give you the option of doing it. Like your centre backs, you want both of your centre backs to be able to bring the ball forward, not just one. Because if only one does it, that's a really easy way to nullify and shut yourself down. Because if only Goldson can bring the ball out of the back and Balogun couldn't, Kevin Nesbitt's just going to sit on Goldson, stop him from bringing the ball out. But when you got two centre backs, like your midfield, he's got two that can do it. Then it creates problems.
I don't know, Mark. Do you need both of your sitting, if we should call them that, midfielders? Do you need both of them to be able to go forward with the ball? Or make those wee kind of, if Scotty's meaning 10, 15-yard runs forward?
It depends. To me, it depends who you're playing. If you're playing a team that's a lot better than most that we play, then I think you need one to sit. But I think the likes of playing Hibs, I think you do need two. If one sits, the other one goes, vice versa. I think Kamara's got that. I think Kamara can do it, but I think he's been told this season, pretty much since Gio's come in, that he's to sit and stay and cover. But last year and under Gerrard, Kamara played as an 8, and Kamara done that job well at playing as an 8. So as long as Kamara's not been told sit there and cover, then I would think play him as an 8 rather than a 6. Play Lundstram as a 6, and just make sure if Lundstram goes, he covers, and vice versa. And it's no a massive tactical change. It's just something that they need to be aware of the space and who's beside them. So, as I said, if Kamara's going, Lundstram needs to cover, and vice versa. But hopefully that's something that these guys should be doing without thinking anyway. I mean, that's what Jack was doing, and Lundstram, the two of them, done it brilliantly against Hearts. So, as I said, you could maybe say Davis, but I don't think Davis has got legs for it. So
I just don't think Davis is one of Gio's go-to guys.
Yeah, no, as I said, I think he's a fabulous. I mean, we've said it before. I think he's a fabulous player, but I don't think the way Gio wants to play, I don't think he's got the legs for it. Simple as that. I don't think he can sit there himself and cover, because he's not got the legs to do that himself. But as I said, I think that Kamara, as long as Kamara gets told, you need to go forward and drive, and if Lundstram goes, you need to cover, then I think that the two of them work. I know a couple of times that they've seemed quite kind of passive and quite side to side when the two of them have played together before. But for me, as long as they know that that's what they have to do, they have to go and cover at the same time, then I think it works. Kamara's good at that, but I think he's been told, you sit and you cover.
Do you know what? Curry Muncher's made a great point, and Mark, that was a decent point. I mean, maybe not quite Curry Muncher standards, but the starting 11 is important, but the substitutions will be critical. Fashion, Diallo, Davis, more impactful coming on as subs, and of course Ramsey as well. Roof. I looked at the bench against Hearts and I thought that's the strongest bench we've had for a long, long time. So it's going to be a tough run-in. We all know that, and there's going to be a lot of rotation. But how important is that bench going to be? If you look at, what was it? Was it 5 or 6? Was it 7 international players we had on the bench against Hearts?
Yeah, I think it's important because, like I said earlier, I feel Sakala's can be an impact player coming off the bench, especially if maybe needing another goal. Davis can come on and calm the game down for you, can't he? Because Stephen Davis has got that experience, he's got a positional sense, he can come on and calm the game down. And Diallo can come on and be an impact player as well because he's got pace and he can go left or right. So I think, and Roof, if they're struggling for a goal, can also come on. I think the bench has to be important, and your subs always can play an important part of the game no matter what the game is. So I think you need a strong bench, because I think a couple of games this season we've looked at a bench and thought there's not a lot to bring on, so maybe he's kept the players on more than they should have. But the starting 11 will be like one change, I think, no more, but the bench will be important, especially for hopefully we're come 60 minutes or 2 or 3 ahead and it doesn't come into that, but it can be an important thing, Martin, the bench. You're right.
Right. Wait a minute, what's that for Jimmy? I take it that's our very own Jamie Duff, and he's just changed his name to Jimmy. Is Ramsey not going to be on the bench? Of course Ramsey will be on the bench. Yeah, of course he will. Right. Everybody in the comments, everybody watching, please get your prediction and first goal scorer. I always like to see a wee first goal scorer. I'm going to come to the guys in a minute, but please get your prediction, first goal scorer. Before I come to that, please do like and subscribe. A like really helps to share the video massively, and subscribe and help us get along to 5k. We do have Patreon and YouTube memberships for loads of extra content. Get your the links in the description, and if you want to become part of the Rabble team, then you can email rangersrabble@gmail.com, or you can direct messages on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. We're looking for people to join and cover all sorts of different podcasts as well. So please do get in touch there. Very quickly, question in the comments. Ramsey, will we start? I think Gio's pretty much come out and said, Scotty, hinted that no, Ramsey's not starting.
No, he came out in his press conference today that that he won't be. I think Ramsey has pretty much said in every interview that he's had they've got a clear plan about integrating him into the team. I think we'll see. He got 15 minutes on Sunday. We'll probably see him get half an hour deliberately, regardless of the score. I think it's just about getting him on the pitch because, you know, when he came on, he looked class. Mm-hmm. He also leads by example. So it'll be great to actually get him on the pitch, regardless of what's going on. So yeah, he'll start on the bench.
Right.
What else? Could I say something else, but I completely forgot.
Listen, it doesn't matter. We've been going for an hour and 16 minutes. That's just ridiculous.
I know, I've not had my dinner yet.
I've had mine. And no, it wasn't a chippy. No. Mark, prediction and first goal scorer?
3-0 for me, and first goal scorer is the Buff. My 3 goal scorers: Buff, Lundstram,
I don't need 3.
and Ramsey.
No one asked you that.
Mark,
I'm giving you.
No.
That's it. Giving you.
Prediction first goal.
Who assists the goals?
I'll give you that as well. If you want that, I'll give you that too.
Can he give us some minutes of the substitutions too?
Listen, I'm dying for a smoke.
He's a little bit of bet on if I give you that as well. He's won a fortune.
What is that, Martin?
Sorry, Martin.
Prediction first goal scorer?
3-1 Tavernier.
3-1 Tav. Scotty?
6-0 Morelos.
6-0 Morelos. Right, okay. Robert Robertson's going 3-0 Buff. Chris Stewart's 3-1 Kent. He's due a goal. He most certainly is. Lee Henderson's going 3-0 Buff. Finn Fogel's going 9-0 McGregor. All right. Nicholas Moore 3-0 Kent to score first. Random Madness 4-0 for Kent. Graham Ross has gone 5-0 with the famous first goal Alfie. Ian Ross is 3-0. Arfield. Paul McGarrigle. Sorry, Paul. I'm probably murdered that there. He's went 4-0, but he hasn't put a first goal scorer. So that's strike 1, Paul. Right? That's it. Well, that's not it. You get 2 more strikes, but you get what I mean. Thomas Skinner, channel member, 4-0 Buffalo. Moore's gone 3-0. So we're pretty much seeing 3s and 4s all down. Do we have any? CGM's just coming up with Ramsey will score. I don't think
we've got lines coming in.
Astruella, you got me on Facebook. I had to do a new Facebook, Curry. So search for it. If not, I'll try and find you. If not, just email rangersrabble@gmail.com. Brian Miller's gone 3-1 Alfie. Dale's gone 4-0 Alfie first goal scorer. I don't see any.
We've got another 6-0 there as well.
There is a 6-0 for Jim Morelos. Anyways, Scotty's on the gear 6-0. Ali Quinn 5-0, but you've not put a first goal scorer. Paul's eventually put his first goal scorer. Kent. Curry Muncher, that would be horrible. 5-4 Alfie with the 5th. I don't know if my heart would take that. Finally, Jim's in 5-1 Arfield first goal scorer. So thank you to everybody watching. We will be back tomorrow night with live match reaction straight after the Hearts game. Just came out today for our YouTube members and on Patreon was Best of the Rest done by Kerr and Jamie Curry. We have the Academy review coming out tomorrow on Patreon and on YouTube for our YouTube members, and it will be out on YouTube on Thursday. So listen, thank you to Mark, thank you to Scotty, thank you to Kerr, thank you to everybody tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow night after a very, very positive result. Good night.